Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I think the morals are low because that's between lunch and us. So I think there's one more panel discussion. And thank you very much, OPSA. Thank you, Mr. Martin Gill, for being part of me as part of the OPSA Awards. Dr. Rajiv Mathur and the BW Business World for having me here today. So we've been talking of the technology, and very interestingly, we are, as most of the CSOs are also talking of the information security, right? And that is where, as Martin Gill and we've been discussing most of the time, there's a blurry line between the cybersecurity threats and the physical security attacks, what you're seeing. Okay, and that's what is a major challenge. And if you look at it, all the discussions what we are having since morning, we are putting technology component everywhere. We are trying to talk of in the homeland security, we talk of drones, we talk of ransomware attacks, we talk of the cyber attacks, everything which is encompassing the security. So it's a very blurry line. We are going to have the facial recognition, the crowd management, what we were talking of, all those things are really changing the whole gamut of the security paradigm. And I will not be wrong in saying you're all working on a blurry line between information security and the physical security, and that's the future, right? And that's what is a topic I'm trying to be talking of, the cybersecurity in the contemporary era, because everything is changing now, the way we look at it. So we spoke of the AIMS attack, and I hope you're able to see the slides. And this was a very interesting attack because for the first time, the healthcare sector has been attacked. The plight was, the healthcare is not the critical information infrastructure of the country. Because we identified as a National Cybersecurity Policy 2013, 6 cybersecurity pillars, and we missed out the healthcare. And unfortunately, till now, we have not been able to find who are the hackers who did it. There was a news on the darknet, it's being sold for 200 CR. Somebody wanted to sell it for $100, all those things. But there are 4 servers, the data gone. And it's a prime data which has been lost. Second was a very interesting one again, last year, April. One of the Oil India was being attacked by the ransomware attack. And this time, as a government, we are paid 56 CR on records. And this is a bigger challenge, what we are seeing. If you look at the attacks, it are kind of the magnitude is increasing. There was a report by the Recorded Future, and this is a threat intelligence report which came out last year. They keep on doing it. They said 7 power grids in the country are under the cyber threat. And who are the people who are perpetrators behind it? It is Red Echo, APT41, that's China. And 2 ports as well, right? So if that be the situation, what are we going to do now? We are in a constant threat, and that's what we are talking. So you may be thinking, we are from a physical security world. Why do we need to talk of technology? No, you need to know about it because attackers don't understand whether it's a tech company or a non-tech company. And that's what they do. And if you look at a very interesting figure, every 11 seconds, there is one ransomware attack. And I hope everybody in the August gathering knows what a ransomware attack is. And this frequency is going to increase. And by 2030, it's been told it will go to almost 3 seconds per attack. Just imagine, while we are talking, there's a cyber attack which is happening. Maybe the magnitude is smaller, more, it depends, and how it really penetrates. And whenever there's a breach which happens, it's not that the breach, it happened and you're back to business. And there's one question by earlier speaker, Jaspreet asked, very pertinent. If you don't have backup data, you cannot recover, how good you may be, right? And it's a big misnomer that what's there in me? Why the cyber attacker is going to hack me? You're wrong. Everything is there with you. That's what they're targeting, right? And now the security lines are blurring, and this is a very interesting space where we talk of the war and peace. And we talk the war when we talk of the beginning to end. We had our side, their side, military, civilian. And in the peace wars, when it was involved, not involved, you win or lose, or violence and non-violence. And now you take it to the security world of the cyber security. Again, you have the same thing, security. The same things which remain on top is The beginning to end, our side, their side, and in insecurity, involved, not involved, win, lose, violence, not violence, all are there. And the attackers are the cyber criminals who are there. They're all paid either by a nation state actor, or they're the companies who are working as a cyber attacker themselves. I'll show you how they really work. And this is a major challenge what we see now. Now, having said all the problems, it's not that, there was no security, we are just coming here and telling that everything is hunky-dory. We had the security paradigm with all the levels of security there with us, and all the companies are actually putting it, but the things have changed. The attackers are no more, thinking of attacking anything. They are very focused. They are advanced. They use machine learning to attack. The time is going to come when it is going to be AI versus AI. The war is going to be AI war versus AI war. More from the military background, you'll have AI-based cyber weapon, which are going to be there. And it's all going to be machine learning, non-signature based attacks which are going to be there. Insider attacks are going to be there. And the attack surface, like we have everything which is sensor-based today, right? So these sensors are increasing the attack surface. And every time there's an attack surface increase, there's a chances that there's a vulnerability is also increasing at the same time. So those are the things which are there. And we have one problem with ourselves. We have a real false sense of security, that we are safe, nothing's going to happen to me. And we don't have the overall visibility of the security posture of the company, right? Now, how do the hackers operate? Anyone? Is it a lone hacker? Is it a lone person who's doing it? Anyone? Anyone from the audience? You can, quick. Anyone? Okay, for the paucity of time, I'll just tell you, they're no more a lone hacker or a person just coming in and doing it. They're running it like a profit and loss business. When I say profit and loss business, these guys have got a, HR recruitment. They have got people who are expert in servers. There are people who are expert in cryptocurrency. There are people who are expert in bank accounts. They're expert in the exchanges. They're expert in the dark web, right? They're expert in negotiations. They are very hard negotiators when it comes to cryptocurrency or the ransomware attack negotiations. They are really very tough. And I've faced it a couple of times. Right? We may, try to budge, but they don't budge. They have a proper, successful business model. And again, example, one of the hacker, how much we would earn in a company we try to run with 100 people and all that stuff, maybe 100 million a year. That hackers earn almost $2 billion a year. And they say, now we want to retire because we have earned enough. That was one of the interviews which was very much interesting in the dark web, right? So, other problem which we see today, that the cybersecurity, we see it as a technical problem. And how many of us we think it is a technical problem? I think everyone? No, it's not a technical problem, it's a business problem. You need to address it. You need to take care of it, because hackers are more advanced than you. An interesting point again. What is the average age of hackers? Anyone? Would be? Within 30? How much would be the average age of your, law enforcement guys who are investigating? 45. So there's an age differential. That is what they're taking the advantage of. They are fast in imbibing the technology. They are fast in, taking all the attacks and do the attacks. We still are in a reactive phase. One thing which we need to really understand, and it goes in a physical security also, we always are in a proactive security posture. We need to change that reactive security posture. From a reactive security, we need to really get into the proactive and predictive security. That's how the game is going to change. We are going to be up ahead of the graph. And whenever there's an attack, a hacker comes and attacks. So I'll not confuse you with the lines, just to tell you, whenever there's an attack which happens on your network, you have only a window of opportunity. And interestingly, that window of opportunity is only 10 minutes before you can identify any attack. If you're not able to identify the attack within 10 minutes, You're only going to find out when there's a data breach and the attacker is known after average of 248 days, right? So that is the kind of situation we are in. So for that, what do you need to do? You have to have a very proactive security framework, architecture to find out the hacker or the criminal the moment he does it. And how does the attack happen? Anyone? How does the attack start? That will be very interesting, because that will be one takeaway point if I have to tell you. How does the attack start? Okay. So attack starts with one click. Okay. And that one click is what? I send you, as a hacker, I send you a phishing mail, very specific to you, from your CEO or from your IT, curated in a manner, it looks very original. And we spoke of the chat GPT. It looks so authentic, you can't even say it's not from your CEO or your finance. You click it, and the moment you click it, the malware gets detonated into your machine, or it takes you to the phishing site, and your complete network goes thereafter. All right. So that is the window of opportunity is only 10 minutes. If you can safeguard, it's good. Otherwise, it's going to be a challenge. So earlier, all the enterprises were monolithic. We used to think what? The cyber security is, the cyber attacks are outside the building. I'm very safe. Whatever I have is perfectly in the building itself. And that's how we were building up the security. Now, what has happened? And just imagine, we had all the firewalls, all the devices, all the components within the network. And the cyber attackers outside, we used to have antivirus, we could save. What has happened now? All your network, with the cloud computing coming in, with the IoT devices coming in, Industry 4.0 coming in, all your devices are out of the network, right? They're no more in the network itself. Either it's your mobile apps or your VIP user. Now you tell me how many of you are giving services to your VIP users, the CEOs, to protect against their brand protection or no cyber attacks happen on them. Have anybody thought of that? Please take that as one of the takeaways. You can give that as a service to all the CEOs, wherever you're giving the security services, to protect them from any cyber attack. And that's a very new area of the security. So whether it's your mobile apps, whether it's your network infrastructure, whether it's your vendors, and all the attacks do happen not from you, it will start from the third party. Who's the third party? Your printing press, or you're the company which is giving you the services. The attack didn't happen on you, it happened on the third party, and you're still affected by it. So that's a new buzzword which we need to understand, right? Brand protection is again a new area which you need to take a look at it. And all the digital assets are beyond your perimeter, your building. So you need to protect yourself. How do you do that? This is what is a kind of a mess. It looks like, I'll not go to the jargons, but it's a huge mess, and it's a nightmare for the security guys to know how to secure it, right? And it's always said the data is at the edge, you cannot secure it. It's a bigger challenge when it comes to the security CISO doing it. Now there are emerging threats, number of them, whether it's ransomware attack, cloud attack, IoT, right? Phishing attacks, cryptocurrency, which are there, darknet, which are there, AI, I already told you. Insider threat is a major one. Remember, pen drive is a major culprit in your companies. That is 67% of the attacks happen from there. We always rely on the people, but people cheat you, right? Your social engineering attacks, man-in-the-middle attacks, so n number of them. And this, Jasprit covered, I'll not cover it up much. Last year, June, CERT India came up with a policy. They said, it's a time that India should, report all the cyber attacks within 6 hours of they coming to know that they've been hit by a cyber attack. And it's very important policy, because next time if you're being hit by a cyber attack and if you're not informing, there's going to be a penalty on the overall business of your company. Okay, so you need to do it. And how do you protect? So there is certain framework which you need to put it to protect yourself, right? So you have to give the logs to the CERT India. Similarly, what are the kind of threats what we're going to see? Think of aviation, the aircrafts, or the airport if it's under attack. Have you ever thought of it? Next time you're going on an airport and all the gates are locked, you cannot fly out. It's a cyber attack. Possible, not possible? Possible. That's why these are all been identified as the critical infrastructure. So there are 6 in all. You should all know that it's power, BFSI, that's a finance, telecom networks, your transport, that's aviation in particular, railways in particular, metro in particular, government, your public enterprise, and the last one is not there yet, but it is the health, right? And these are the critical infrastructure. They are under the IT Act. They need to be protected, okay? And finally, they can have each of the future security critical sectors. They need to be protected, whether it's your power sector or your government offices or your oil and gas. Everywhere you have a threat. And by the way, though the BFSI sector is quite well regulated, the power sector, the aviation sector are still lagging behind. So it's a time when these have to take up and be ahead of that curve, right? And takeaways as a strategy leaders, what you need to do at a strategy level and a tactical level, because the cybersecurity policy is not just, again, I told you, it's not a technology, it's a business. And if you have your plans in place only for the cyber attack, right? And the culprit for the cyber attack is not only the IT guy this time. Remember, it can be your CEO or your MD or the last guy in the company. All are responsible equally. Okay? So you should have your plans, that's a business continuity plan, or your cyber risk management, your disaster recovery plan, your incident response plan, and work from home plan. It may happen anytime in the cyber risk. This is a strategic level you need to think. And these policies should be there with you, not just a IT security policy. Okay, so that's very important. And also at the tactical level, right, you should have the remote access policy or a VPNs, which are the virtual private networks, home networks security policy, encrypted emails, your password policy, video conferencing. And another interesting thing is, after COVID, none of your board meetings are secret. Tell me how? Webinars. In the board meeting, you have the IT guy who's always there. He can always be a mole. Okay? So you got to be thinking of all these things while you are getting onto the technology, right? So these are the top tips which I wanted to share with you. And thank you very much for a patient hearing. Thank you.